1, 2, 3, 4.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
It's a perfect segue. Everything Jonathan was just dialing up so perfectly. I know that they were all standing by and listening. We call it the solar work study, but there's Southwest Virginia is kind of the unofficial focus geography of the summit this year. And I want to bring in right now Mr. Will Payne. There's Nick. Everybody knows Nick Pollier. Hello. And Mr. Adam Wells. Nick and Adam were instrumental kind of behind the scenes, helping us put, like a lot of people, the tremendous work behind the Solar Summit. And I'm really stoked to give them the stage now so everyone can see and experience, what they're doing. So Adam, let me bring you in first. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Sorry about the
Hey,
time.
Dan.
You guys still have till the top of the hour, so forget about that soft break. Take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Glad to be here. Hey, Will. And Nick is actually going to lead us off on this one, so I'll pass it over to him.
Oh, right on. Thank you. Sorry about that. Hey, Nick.
All right. Hey, good morning, everyone. Let me do a quick screen share here and get this going for everyone. Hopefully that's popping up. Again, I'm Nick Pollier. I'm with DMME, and within DMME there's several divisions. I am with the Division of Energy. So I'm based out of Southwest Virginia, and going to talk a little bit about kind of all the exciting stuff that's going on in Southwest Virginia, touch a little bit on some of Will's stuff and Adam and the work group as well. But this is a busy slide because Southwest Virginia is busy right now across the state, but there's a lot going on. And so by design, there's a lot on this slide, and you can see on here, there's a ton of partners, and some of us work directly with one another, but what's really making the ability for us to grow solar in Southwest Virginia is we're all working in parallel paths, sometimes together, sometimes not, but everyone's pushing for clean energy in Southwest Virginia and a historically coal producing area of the state. So, you've heard about the solar work group here over the last couple of days. The partners are listed here on the screen, but the solar work group has really been instrumental in getting the ball rolling in several areas. Of course, you've heard about their solar roadmap and the solar playbook that were both published by the work group, but they've also issued commercial and residential RFPs. And of course, the latest announcement was the partnership with Secure Futures to deploy, up to 10 megawatts across Southwest Virginia. So those are all big things. I know the work group is excited about it, but I also wanted to touch on Will Payne's organization, Invest Southwest Virginia. They are an economic and clean energy development organization. They're doing a lot of innovative stuff on formerly mined lands. That does include solar, and I think Will's going to talk about some of that, so I won't go too in depth there. But they're another regional leader on a different sphere in terms of private entities working to pursue the clean energy on formerly mined lands and just across Southwest Virginia. And of course, I got to give the state agency plug. Being a part of a state agency, you all have heard, or if you weren't familiar with DEQ's work prior to this year's Solar Summit, obviously they do a lot of work in the brownfields, and they manage the brownfields program. So not only in Southwest Virginia, but definitely across the state. And then from DMME's perspective, we have a ton of programs as well. You've heard a little bit about the Abandoned Mine Land Program and the Abandoned Mine Land Pilot Program. Those are funding opportunities to help develop previously mined lands. We also have a slew of clean energy programs. Jonathan just talked a little bit about SolSmart. DMME and the University of Virginia's Weldon Cooper Center are now technical advisors for that program. And Carrie Hearn spoke earlier in the summit. She used to be the program manager for that. She has now moved on. So that position will be filled, and we'll have another person at DMME reaching out to the localities in Southwest Virginia to try and help them with that Soul Smart initiative. And speaking of Carrie, probably, a big deal for this area is she's going to be leading the energy equity branch. And that's a huge, huge topic. It's a huge issue, especially in Southwest Virginia, as we start to tackle this just transition in this fossil fuel land here, and the desire now to bring on clean energy and realize those benefits. How can we help facilitate a just transition? So Carrie was going to lead those efforts for DMME. So she'll be on everyone's radar if she already isn't. And just quickly here, I'll finish up another parallel effort. You have the Nature Conservancy's Cumberland Forest Project. So that is a great demonstration of how can conservation and clean energy interact. Where is the overlap there? And so that project, and they haven't made any announcement yet in terms of the partnership and the solar deployment that will happen. But when it does happen, that's going to be a big win for the area, and that's going to demonstrate to folks that they're not separate. You can have both at the same time on previously mined lands. And these have been hammered repeatedly over the last couple of days, but the legislative wins in terms of Executive Order 43, which established the 100% clean energy, followed by the Virginia Clean Economy Act, which established a lot of our RPS standards and benchmarks, including the community interest clean energy benchmarks. And then the newest one is our Brownfields bill. DMME is going to manage that Brownfields fund and program. There's a lot of funding benefit that will eventually be available to folks who want to do this Brownfields development. And then another big win was the PPA for non-jurisdictional customers was just passed this last session. So that enables now non-jurisdictional customers, your public bodies, localities. Now it removes a cap on those PPA limits. And, I can think of 4 localities that we've worked with that were hampered by that cap that now have the ability to work to realize those PPA installations. And then we talked, I know Carrie mentioned yesterday and talked at length about the shared solar. So all of this is big wins, not only for the state, but it's big for Southwest Virginia. And it's all happening at a time where the Solar Workgroup, Invest Southwest, DMME, DEQ, all have these irons in the fire. And hopefully it's coming together at the right time. And we're going to start realizing some of these things that we've been talking about. So I'll stop there. And, I touched on some of the stuff. I know that Adam and Will are going to go a little bit further in depth.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah. Nick, if you can exit your screen share, I'll get mine up.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, I've enjoyed slipping in some fun slides to my slide decks here lately to deal with Zoom fatigue. So everybody get ready for what's coming.
You won the day yesterday. I can't wait to see. I have no idea.
Okay, let's see here.
Multiple people, I don't know if you watched all day, but multiple people reference your slides later in the day. It was great. Good work.
Yep. Okay. So this is like the greatest hits mashup, Solar Kitty DJ. Here we go. Like Nick said, there's a lot going on in Southwest Virginia with the Solar Workgroup. Too much to mention in the 10 minutes or less that I have. So I'm just going to really do like a greatest hits rolling on here. So here we go. So for folks who haven't heard, the Solar Workgroup started out of a conversation in a breakout room in the 2016 Economic Forum in Southwest Virginia. And it really started with a central question of how can we use the development of a locally rooted solar industry as an economic catalyst? And so from day one, what's that, 6 years ago, up to now, it's really rooted in those economic terms, bringing jobs and investment to the region. Nick mentioned this a little bit already, but in terms of the structure of the work group, we've got a 3 co-convener leadership model with UVA-wise, Appalachian Voices, and People Incorporated as the co-conveners. And then planning team members, Pale Blue Dot, Southern Environmental Law Center, the Nature Conservancy, DMME, and with facilitation by Dialogue and Design. We have bi-weekly planning team meetings and then quarterly meetings on specific topics that are open to the public. Our next one is in the evening on March 31st. It's all about energy efficiency targeted at community members and kind of the residential level. Anybody's welcome to join these meetings. It's a wide open door policy, and our planning team is governed by a consensus decision-making model. Here's our mission and vision. I won't read these to you, but you can see if you do read them, they're all about energy equity and using solar as an economic and social catalyst. One important note here is, we are doing solar in the coalfields. And from day one, we've had this both and approach. It's not about solar versus coal. It's about using solar as a way to continue our region's proud legacy as an energy producing region. And so that's a message that we really believe in, and one that has really helped us bridge a lot of divides and move into some really fruitful conversations and work. We've got 4 goals. I'll summarize them. It's to put up a lot of solar that people can see. That's 1. 2 is to put local people to work and training in doing that solar installation. 3 is to do education outreach at the community level up to elected leaders and beyond. And 4 is to make Southwest Virginia specifically and the state as a whole more solar friendly. So over the years, we've done just a ton of work in all 4 of those goal areas. I'm just scratching the surface here in my time today. But we've got a great website, SWVAsolar.org, that has the history of all the work that we've done and a lot of great resources for folks interested in our work. So a few highlights along the way. In the very beginning, we got a ARC, that's Appalachian Regional Commission Power Grant, to do the solar roadmap for Southwest Virginia that was accompanied by an economic impact analysis. So since we were framing everything in economic terms, we had to have a really good answer for what is the economic possibility, what's the opportunity here, both in terms of dollars and cents, how much money could the region save from energy savings from solar, how much money could we attract in investments. And then with the roadmap, it was really about putting dots on the map. It's saying, these are, we were calling them ambassador sites that would be ideal candidates for solar, both because of their siting and the energy savings, as well as just being high visibility, high traffic areas. Nick mentioned this. These are more recent reports that just came out at the end of last year. The solar playbook, we had a session on that a couple of days ago that really went into the question of how do we, looking at the county level, how do we streamline utility scale solar and make sure we maximize local economic benefit for the specifically looking at solar on mineland and brownfield areas. That came out at the same time with this accompanying solar manufacturing analysis, which asked the question, what, if anything, could we make in Southwest Virginia along the solar supply chain? So a lot of our work had been focused on development, putting panels on the ground, but with the region's strong manufacturing legacy, we wanted to see if we could make anything, if there would be a there. So long story short, with that one, is we looked at the whole spectrum, and the greatest opportunity by far was in the energy storage and electrification market, both as it relates as a necessary component to bring solar online, but then also as kind of an individual market, just with the broad movement to electrification in the infrastructure and transportation sectors. So we actually just found out that we got a Go Virginia grant to implement that, and we'll be working with 4 manufacturers in Southwest Virginia. They have been primarily serving the coal industry that are working to shift to expand their markets, and we'll be providing technical assistance to them to help get them into that energy storage market. So really excited about that. It's hopefully going to create hundreds of jobs in the region around clean energy. Do a time check here. So we've already talked about SolSmart. Nick mentioned it in his overview. This was a major theme in our session on Wednesday. But the idea here is to streamline solar installation at all scales at the county level, where about 60% of the cost of installations on average are in soft costs, and a lot of that comes from red tape and just sluggish bureaucracy at the county level. So SolSmart is a Department of Energy program designed to eliminate as much of that bureaucratic red tape and hurdles as possible, and really pave the way on the county level. So we're really proud to have this cohort of 8 localities from Southwest Virginia go through the SolSmart program together, and we're continuing that with SolSmart 2.0, as we're calling it, via the playbook. So a lot to talk about on the installation scale, putting panels up on the roofs and in the ground. At a residential scale, we've done multiple solarized programs. That's where a lot of homeowners get together and go solar together to bring down the price and make it easier. It's been a challenging go doing that because of doing solar in Southwest Virginia, where there's not as much population. There's more low and moderate income families. So we're kind of having to reinvent that model that's worked all over the place in the United States, but make it work in Central Appalachia. Nick mentioned on the commercial scale, the really exciting partnership with Secure Futures, securing solar, and we're working together to implement 10 megawatts of solar at a commercial and institutional scale. I think Chelsea and others from Secure Futures, Chelsea from Appalachian Voices and others from Secure Futures gave a presentation on that yesterday. And then at the utility scale, not as direct a role for the work group, but we're working with partners, DMME and the Nature Conservancy, to support utility scale on mine land. And finally, about to tee up Will here, but it's not really that photogenic, but we've been doing a lot of work at the General Assembly because the solar policies in Southwest Virginia were more prohibitive than they are in the rest of the state. And that was a key barrier for why we didn't see the same penetration in the market, in my backyard as we did in folks regions in communities in Eastern and Northern Virginia. So Nick mentioned this, we had some big wins with power purchase agreements and expansion net metering. And then getting the Brightfields Act passed this session was another major win that all came out of the solar work group. Whew, so with that, I'll clear the dance floor and pass it on to Will.
All right, thanks, Adam. Appreciate it, and thank you, Nick, for putting together this panel. Just as a matter of background, our team, Coalfields Strategies, and the Global Economic Development Practice at Hunt Andrews Kurth launched in September 2019 in Best Southwest Virginia, which is a public-private business attraction and marketing campaign in the Go Virginia Region 1 territory that's backed by the Tobacco Commission, the Lenawisco Planning District, and supported by private industry. And so Point Broadband stepped up, Appalachian Power stepped up, Dominion Energy stepped up. The legislators are our co-chairs, Delegate Kilgore, Senator Pillion, Delegate O'Quinn, and the late Senator Chafin. They wanted to pilot whether a private firm could provide a jolt to the system, and in our team's case, use political heft on both sides of the aisle to generate leads and establish new strategic partnerships. And I have to hand it to the legislators. They delivered on their word to take a hands-on approach, serving as validators and deal closers. And so our message is really, if Southwest Virginia, really needs to change the way it pursues new business investment if it expects different outcomes. So we had to begin with building support for a vision that leverages the region's strategic advantages, the ones we all know, the quality of life and dedicated workforce and affordable real estate and available grant dollars. But for energy, I'll add one more, and that's the assets that enable the coal industry to thrive. Land, power, water, and the key for our team, using these advantages to sell executives perhaps unfamiliar with our region on opportunities to expand. And so with that in mind, we laid out a roadmap for economic sustainability, a vision that builds on the region's strengths. And we've touched on a number of them. For today, energy matters, and so this is about energy innovation. And so for us, the name of the game is to use partnerships with both sides wanting to move the ball forward and work aggressively. That's what we're doing with renewable energy, thanks to DMME. I do want to just spend a minute on DMME. We have shared goals, and if we didn't work together, maybe we'd get the same end result that we have, but probably at a slower pace and likely not to our equal high standards. And so together we can tackle some really exciting projects. I'm going to touch on those, but the value of a public-private partnership, that's what this is about, and that's DMME gets it. And they know how to leverage their expertise to get results. They are the region's land experts. They are heavily involved in the community and our schools. They are essential to unlocking the region's potential to reinvent itself. Now, we've laid out a path forward for Southwest Virginia to do just that with our campaign and our work leading the project development efforts of the Southwest Virginia Energy R&D Authority. So, we like to say the time to study that is over, because we're doing it. We're doing it now. We're doing it with DMME. And I can't thank enough, Director John Warren, Chief Deputy Jennifer Palestrant, Division Energy Director Al Christopher, Director of Administration Will Clear, the whole team in Southwest Virginia, including those on this panel today, Nick, Daniel, and Carrie. And the same goes to DEQ with events. So I've got 3 slides on our projects, but first acknowledgement. Obviously, this is the Virginia Solar Summit. While I'm not talking about solar per se, we absolutely see solar as an attraction tool and as a perfect pairing as we work with prospects and the utilities on energy and just economic development projects in general. First, so Project Oasis. We sought third-party validation for Go Virginia Region 1 to become a location of choice for data centers based on industry-backed power and broadband infrastructure requirements. Thanks to the Nova Technology Council, the Data Center Coalition, utilities, and broadband providers. They were all in. The result was we identified 6 sites suitable for a 36 megawatt hyperscale data center and 4 additional sites suitable for a smaller data center up to 10 megawatts. We asked, what can Southwest Virginia offer that perhaps no one else can offer, at least in Virginia? What can be our unique attraction tool? And the answer is we have hundreds of inundated mine cavities in the region. They're enormous water resources. We're talking billions of gallons of water. The concept is that most of that mine water is anywhere from 300 to 800 feet deep, maybe deeper, and maintains a constant temperature of 51 or 52 degrees. You can circulate a limited amount of water to cool a data center while maintaining the integrity of that mine. We worked with PCCI in Alexandria to design a mine water cooling system that would save more than $1 million annually in electricity costs and municipal water purchases. And of course, solar would be a great complement to this technology and an attraction tool for additional data center investment in Southwest Virginia. On energy storage, we were excited back in October to team up with Appalachian Power and Dominion Energy to advance energy storage technology, right here in our region. We announced the effort to leverage our combined resources and help achieve our shared goals, including electric reliability. As you know, both utilities are focused on how energy storage can maximize the impact of solar energy generation. Appalachian Power is committed to providing customers with at least 600 megawatts of solar generation by 2030, and while Dominion Energy expects to provide, I think, about 16,000 megawatts of solar in the state over the next 15 years. And so for this partnership, we're working with DMME and the Southwest Virginia Energy R&D Authority. The goal is to lead by implementing projects. So the R&D, the manufacturing, and the deployment of the technology, they're all tied together. We've kicked off a couple projects already. One I can mention more publicly, and that's taking a bit of a disruptive approach to pump storage hydro. On our website, you can check it out. Project Energizer is a small-scale modular system that can be deployed with very little land disturbance, made from off-the-shelf components. And by pairing this system with wind and solar power generation, our region has the potential of deploying a small-scale, affordable, and proven baseload renewable energy solution. And that's something that can be paired with, of course, some of the prospects that we're trying to pursue today, including a data center. And the last project, Project Innovation. So this is the brainchild of world-renowned scientist and Virginia Tech Grand Poobah, Dr. Mike Karmas. It's included in the charge given to the Southwest Virginia Energy R&D Authority. The concept is this: create a first-of-its-kind energy park operation in the United States that will host entrepreneurs and companies interested in studying, perfecting, and ultimately commercializing their ideas. Simply put, the park will provide land, labs, and scientific assistance to innovators in the industry. It will also be a facility that allows middle and high school students to see STEM-related energy projects in action. And unlike a traditional energy lab, in this case, using Southwest Virginia's assets, its geography, its topography, the land is the lab. We're narrowing down locations now, finalizing the organizational plan. But as we talk about Oasis, we talk about Energizer, these are projects that can be further developed on this park property for the world to see. In the case of Energizer, you need hundreds of feet between the top and bottom for this pump storage project, and you can't do that anywhere else in Virginia except right here. So bottom line, with all these projects, we're trying to redefine Southwest Virginia as the energy innovation capital of the East Coast, and we appreciate all the partners who are all in on this. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Will. We've got some, if you want to, you guys still finished on time anyway. Man, we got some stars. And Will, that was awesome. I really appreciate everything that you just put down for us at the audience there. So we've got, if you want to stand up, take a quick break, we're going to reset at the top of the hour, 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time now. You're all getting up a little early this week, but we do appreciate it. So Will, Adam, Nick, you guys can come back into the conversation. Let me check for questions. Or did you guys have any other, Adam, did you have any final thoughts in our bonus time? Or did you go, did he get up for a cup of coffee?
No, I don't need any more coffee. Isn't that clear?
Oh, you were smooth, man. You guys were all great.
Yeah.
Really smooth.
Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah, Nick, I'll echo what Will said. Thanks for what you guys are doing. I think I keep saying it, but it's worth repeating. What's happening at DMME and DEQ, and really all the interagency efforts at the Commonwealth is super impressive. And I think people that are still dialed in on day 3 here are catching it later. Professionals already know, but you guys are really doing things the right way. And one of the reasons I was so excited to participate in the summit this year was to continue to put your work out front and forward. That this is really repeatable stuff. And Will, your presentation is so relevant to so many people out there right now. All the work you guys are doing. To follow in Jonathan Sweet's footsteps, as you guys saw, they're going to have to listen to you guys, and we're all going to walk down this path together. Let's see. Drop some questions in the chat for these guys. We got Nick coming back later, we know. Stay tuned after lunch. We're diving into Brightfields 300. I'm really excited about that.
Dan, there's a question here from YouTube. I don't know if you're seeing it in the chat.
I was trying to get there. No, please.
Okay, I can just read it. It says, is the 600 megawatt goal by 2030 limited to Virginia sites or within the Appalachian power grid?
No, I said that, and I'm going to have to punt on that because I am unclear, but I believe it's Virginia.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Virginia, Charlie here.
Thanks, Charlie. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Great stuff. All their presentations will be shared. I think this is a session people are going to rewatch. It was a really great hour. I love the way that you guys complimented Jonathan's presentation so well. It's a renaissance, and thanks for making it real. Keep going. I wish I could clone each of you guys, and who knows, maybe there'll be a summit on that maybe in the next decade. But I digress, my friends. Keep up the good work. The future's as bright as these gentlemen will help build it. So thank you very much. We appreciate your contributions.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.